This is the role of the Marine Corps. Okay, we are America's expeditionary force in readiness, and we continue to be that. Right? Congress has said we are to be the most ready when the nation is least ready. Right? We are the go-to-war today force, which means what we've got today, we go to war with, and we make a difference. We also, Commandant's called us a middleweight force. That doesn't mean we stay there, and it doesn't mean we're self-limiting. Anybody who's been, boxed or wrestled or whatever, middleweight, if you need to, you can gain a little bit of weight, get up to the heavyweight, you can go to the lightweight. And that's what we've done. I mean, years gone by, Iraq, talk about heavy. I mean, we have never been so heavy with MRAPs and the equipment that we have, and the individual Marine. I mean, if you look at pictures of what Marines were wearing 10 years ago and what they're wearing now, the difference in, the difference is vast. So what's that going to bode for the future? I'm not sure. But if we want to go light, if we need to go back to jungle type stuff where it's a lot of foot movement, I mean, we can do that, right? I don't know if we can get much heavier, but if we want to stay somewhere in the middle, which is kind of our normal amphibious expeditionary force type stuff, we can do that too. I mean, right now, you put a battalion's worth of MRAPs on amphib ships, they'll probably sink. So anyhow, that's who we are. That's who we tout to the American people. That's who we tout to Congress, to the Secretary. Right? We get out there. We get out there first. We're forward deployed. We can get a handle on the situation, right, and give the President and Secretary of Defense decision space. Right? We give them time to think, time to plan. They know they got somebody out there. Right? And it can be, I mean, we used to have a mission, maybe we still do, it's called Show of Force. Right? And Marines on amphibs would show up off the country or off the coast of a certain country. Right? And just be there. Just enough that they could see us and they knew there was United States Marines on those ships. And sometimes that had happened in the Middle East. It made a difference. I mean, bad things that were going on in some of those countries would quiet down. They're like, whoa, we don't want these guys coming in here. Right? Show of force. I mean, the only way you can fail that mission is not to show up. So, that still makes a difference. I mean, that's a scary thing to have Marines on amphibs off the coast of your country if you're doing bad things. Right? Look at Libya. Right? I mean, we've been out there a couple times. From, Presley O'Bannon and the pirates then to pirates now. Anyhow, so this is the role of the Marine Corps. Next slide. Okay, and then this is the mission of Marine Forces Reserve. And for a lot of reasons we're different, for a lot of reasons we're the same. Now, what do we want to be? Do we want to be different, or do we want to be the same? I don't know. We've got to figure that out. Maybe we're a little bipolar in the end. But we want to preserve as much as we can of the operational expertise that we've gleaned over the last 10 years. We want to try and maintain that. And I'll talk about that some more. But what we do is we augment and we reinforce. Okay, the Commandant's called us a shock absorber, and I'll show you another slide that kind of brings that home. So we want to be the shock absorber, but at the same time, we're a lot the same as the active duty component, right? We've got a division, we've got a wing, and we've got an MLG, and a Force Headquarters Group, just like MEFs and other of our Force Headquarters Group, and has some of those unique organizations. The only unique organizations we've got are CAG, the Civil Affairs Group, and the Personal Recovery Group. Other than that, we're the same as the active component. We go to the same boot camp, we go to the same officer training, we go to the same MOS schools, we go to the same SOI, same rank structure, no patches, the whole deal. So you really can't tell the reserves from active. Haircut's the same, fitness the same. So that's the way we probably want to be. Total force, right? Even though at the same time we're a quarter of the United States Marine Corps. They're a very, very important quarter. Next slide. And then, vision and strategy. So this is out of the Commandant Strategy 2025, and this is my vision, okay, or kind of a short and edited version of my vision. But again, you can see on there, what do? We augment, we reinforce, and we sustain, right? We are proactively aligned and seamlessly integrated. And that's something, this is a vision now, right? So, okay, some could give me instances and say, okay, well, here we were pretty integrated, here we were pretty interoperational, but, I want to get us tighter, and the Commandant wants us tighter to the active component. So again, a vision is what we want to be, it's not what we are now. So we want to further develop that with the active component. Highly trained, ready professionals, and interchangeable. So when we send out a squadron, we send out in the future, an Osprey squadron, right? We want it to be interchangeable with the active squadron. Send out infantry battalion, we want it to be interchangeable. So what they're trained to do, those active duty component commanders, active duty Marine Corps commanders don't have to worry because they know they got the very same force. Again, starting with everybody going to the same boot camp or OCS, right, up through training as to what they are. Next slide. Okay, here's that, it's kind of a shock absorber. You can see the shock absorber thing. You can see where the reserves were there to augment, reinforce, and sustain the active component over the last 10 years. So I've talked to the staff about, extending this out. What did this look like from 1990? We probably have a spike there from Desert Shield, Desert Storm. But after that, you're running real close to the bottom line down here. Right, this bottom line is, kind of your standard, your daddy's reserve, which is, the 48 drills for 1 weekend a month and an annual training. So this shows the number of activations. You can see right here after, OIF started, went up to 21,316. Then, depending on what was required, right, and then currently activated. So we're still looking pretty good. So, 5,800, 5,900 activated with an average of about 6,000, which is pretty darn good, right? That's a lot of folks that are out there helping. What's going on? Not all of those were in OIF, but a lot of them were activated for it. Okay. So then, you can see here's how we provide that shock absorber, right? So, if I was the CEO of a big business and looking at what we provided our customer that they couldn't live without, that would be it, right? We provide that shock absorber because if they didn't have this, right? I don't know what would have happened in Iraq if they would have had that additional 21,000 folks. 21,000, geez, that's a lot. Okay, next slide. And then, here's another telling slide. And some of these commands you may not recognize. You recognize Wounded Warrior Regiment, Marine Forces Central Command, okay, 1MF, Training and Education Command, DC MNRA, this is a Deputy Commandant for manpower, right? So 8% of his folks are reserves, right? Then you have these various other Mojave Viper, you got folks supporting there, right? But this is pretty telling here. 67%, almost 70% of the folks supporting Wounded Warrior Regiment. So if those reserves weren't being funded, we really wouldn't be able to support our wounded and injured warriors. I tell General Kelly, evidently, my predecessor, your previous commander, said, people don't know who the reserves are. We all kind of look the same, no shoulder patches, things like that. He said one day he was going to tell all the reserves to show up with red T-shirts on, so that their bosses would know, oh, you're a reserve? Oh, geez, never knew. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's a good thing. Next slide.